Hi everybody, welcome to this evening's Facebook Lives. It's been a couple of weeks actually since I came live, so it's great to see you again. And today we're going to be talking about menopause matters. I know it's such an important subject. To be perfectly honest, for women of every age, because, there are some people that go through menopause early, there are some people that are experiencing symptoms, and that whole phase before can be long. A lot of people who want to be balancing hormones, so, it's not really just menopause. So I'm really hoping that this video is going to appeal to many more than just those who are entering that menopause phase. So welcome. It's a Wednesday evening here in the UK, and it's so lovely to have you all here. I'm just going to wait for a few more to join us, and I'm particularly looking forward to welcoming my good friend Lucy Wyndham-Reid, who is a YouTube fitness expert. She is amazing, and I'm waiting for her to come on live on this session, because then I can invite her in. We're really hoping that we get the technology right, but we're practicing on you all, so bear with us, and hopefully it will all go smoothly. So a little bit about me. My name is Simpkin. I'm a nutritionist. I'm a qualified and registered nutritionist here in the UK. And I see clients on a one-to-one basis, usually to help them with a personalized plan to help them achieve their health goals. And that's really looking in terms of nutrition and what they can do by changing their diet and lifestyle to help alleviate symptoms and achieve the goals that they want. So those goals might be, typically things like weight loss, energy issues, but more and more issues are coming up with menopause. And that's why I decided to do this session today, because we really want to address this head on and tell you all out there that actually there is so much you can do. And although you might be getting a lot of symptoms, which are natural and expected during that menopause phase, there's also a lot that you can do to help those symptoms and not really make them worse. So, hopefully that's something that I can help you with at the end of this session. So I'm just waiting. Lucy, if you're out there, if you wouldn't mind making a comment, and then once I see you there, I can invite you in. I know you were having trouble with your internet, so I may have to go solo on this one. And I hope not too many people are disappointed if that is the case, but I'm going to be confident, and hopefully she'll come on soon. So thank you. I've got Sandra, I can see, and Lena. If you're out there, do make a comment or a thumbs up or a heart so I can see a bit of life here on my screen. It's always nice to know that I am talking to a few of you. So it's been a little while since I did go live. Thank you. So menopause, big issue, as I keep saying. And one of the reasons for that is that we're going fine. Life is okay. We're managing. Life's busy. Life's mad, but we're coping. And all of a sudden, life is still busy, it's still mad, but you suddenly find that actually you're not coping so well. And symptoms that you thought you could live with suddenly become much more pronounced and sometimes debilitating. So, some of those symptoms that we see a lot are, things like weight gain, that's one of the first things. Energy issues, sleeplessness is something I see and hear about a lot. Anxiety, moods, low moods particularly, which is really hard to deal with. So those are just some of the symptoms. I mean, if there's any other symptoms that you find are a little bit more pronounced during this phase, do pop them into the comments, because there's certainly things that I can talk about. So what we are, here we go, Lucy, brilliant. So I wonder whether I can click onto that, bring Lucy on I'll be so proud of myself. It'll be great. So it's adding at the moment, so bear with me. So we're going to go back to those. Brilliant. So Kim, I get really bad brain fog. Yeah, absolutely. That's, you know, your brain just goes, doesn't it? So all of a sudden you you can't think straight. You're confused. Things overwhelm you much more easily than they used to. And that's hard because it makes your day much harder to get through. So absolutely, Kim, that's a great one to bring in. I've still got that adding message coming up, Lucy, so bear with me. Might be your internet, as you mentioned, so but we'll still keep on with that one. Hopefully you will get added at some point. So the symptoms, and they can start any time. You know, there is no age that these things suddenly come on. It can be something that is hereditary, so there could be a familial link. You know, what age did your mother go through this, and perhaps that's linked, but not always. But I would say that, you know, there could be a familial link, so it's a guide. But one thing is for sure is that we are busier than previous generations used to be at this stage in our life, and that's why it's quite hard to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So most of us women, you know, we're still actually very busy. You know, maybe you've got younger children, you had children later on in life, or even if the children, you know, are grown up and they're not so young, but you've started another career, frankly, a bit like I have. You know, I've never been busier. And that's because I'm starting afresh, and we have so many more opportunities available to us that it's quite feasible to do that. So, you know, it's hard if you're trying to do all of those things as well as deal with the symptoms of menopause. So what I want to talk to you about today is how we can alleviate some of those symptoms and really essentially make sure that we're not contributing to them by bad choices in our food choices and also our lifestyle. So we're really going to make some great choices in our diet and make some changes to our lifestyle. And then that way you're not exacerbating the symptoms of menopause. Now, the symptoms of menopause are typical. And what's happening in menopause is that you are, I'm just going to try Lucy again, bring Lucy on camera. I'm trying again, Lucy. And it's just saying adding again, so it'll just keep flashing at me until we get you added, but I'm just going to carry on plowing through. So what's actually happening in menopause? Because I think this is something that people suddenly think, oh my God, you know, this isn't normal. I don't feel normal. I don't feel the same as I used to. Is it more pronounced than other people are getting it? How come other people are managing to get through it much more quickly and much more easily than I am? And the first thing to think about is that we are all individuals. As obvious as that sounds, we all react differently and our thresholds are different. But one thing is the same for all of us, and that is the fact that during menopause and that phase leading up to menopause, which is called perimenopause, our estrogen levels are reducing. Okay, now that perimenopause can last months, years, and it really been years. I mean, there are some people that, I'm just going to try again, Lucy. There are some people who it can last for ages. And I've heard of people sort of 5 years, they can remember having their first hot flush and they're still getting them. They can remember having their first bouts of insomnia and they're still not sleeping well. So there is no time limit on this, unfortunately, and it's a phase, and it's a phase that is accompanied with diminishing, lowering levels of estrogen. So that is normal, and that's what I really want you to understand, is that it is normal for your estrogen levels to be reducing and for you to be experiencing these symptoms. So when you understand that that's normal, so then you think, okay, well, what do I do about those reducing levels of estrogen? So of course, one option is to replace those reducing levels. And that's what's commonly known as hormone replacement therapy. And you're literally, you are replacing the hormones that you have lost. Just trying again. Sorry, Lucy, it just keeps saying it's adding and then I lose it. So, I'm going to be super optimistic and super patient, which is pretty much against the grain for me, but I'm going to go with it this time because we'll keep trying. So Tina, you started at 43 and still going at 57. Exactly. So that's this phase of perimenopause that I'm talking about. And you can see here that we are all different. Some people just sail through and have no idea that they're even in perimenopause. Then all of a sudden they realize they are actually in menopause. And just to clarify, you are in menopause when you haven't had a menstrual cycle for 1 year. That's how the doctors will classify it. And so that also gives you an idea. So when you're getting to this stage in life, it's probably worth keeping a note of when your periods are, because they can become more erratic and you can forget when your last one was. So that's a gauge for you, and that's how you would classify when you go into menopause. And as I say, that period of perimenopause, so leading up to the menopause, can last for years, or it can happen and you didn't even realize you were in perimenopause and all of a sudden your menstrual cycle has stopped. You're one of the lucky ones. So when you are experiencing those symptoms, you have got reducing estrogen, and one option medically is to replace that estrogen with hormone replacement therapy. Now, one thing I would say is that treatment has come on a long way. It's now no longer horse hormones that we used to hear about, which is actually frankly quite horrific. They have become much more streamlined, and they are much more sort of in line with our natural hormones. So there are things called bioidentical hormones, but even the hormones that are not labeled as bioidentical hormones are now much more in line, in tune with our own natural hormones. So that's changed quite a lot. And when you go to your GP and your GP is talking to you about hormone replacement therapy, then it is a very different type of hormone than when these things first came on the market and we had all that hysteria associated with the type of hormones they are. That said, you are still altering your balance of hormones, in my opinion, unnaturally. Okay, so what you're doing is you are bolstering those levels of estrogen back to the levels that they used to be at pre-perimenopause, which then means you then don't get the same symptoms because your estrogen levels are back up there. And that can be quite appealing. But one thing to remember is that you're not actually getting rid of the menopause. You are simply delaying the onset. And there is a time limit that you need to be on these hormone replacement therapy. And your doctor is the best person to be advising you on that. But once you stop that treatment, you will actually go into menopause. Now, the argument is you might be at a better stage in life and you're more able to cope with it and you're more bolstered and actually it's more feasible. So that's really where the appeal of hormone replacement therapy comes in. So that's a whole nother area. And frankly, that's your decision with your doctor. And that's something that you can consider if you want to do. But I'm here today to say to you that there is actually another way of dealing with it, or another way that you can have as well as. In my opinion, it's certainly worth having a go without, because there's so much you can do when it comes to replacing your hormones that you are naturally losing as part of the menopause. Now, I don't know if most of you are aware that this is obviously a live session, and if you're watching it not live, depending on when you're watching it, it might not be so relevant, but I am actually running an event with Lucy Wyndham-Reed, who is a YouTube fitness blogger. She is amazing. And we're running it together because we feel that the two go hand in hand, and that's really helping you deal with the menopause. And it's called Menopause Makeover. It's in the Hotel du Vin in Wimbledon on Sunday, 20th of May. So if you're free that day, I highly recommend that you join us, because it's going to be a live event and we're going to be taking you through dealing with the menopause and really asking you to embrace this fabulous phase, because it is a new phase and it's a phase that really can be embraced as long as you are bolstered with the right diet
and the right activity and fitness levels, and then is not unreasonable to achieve. You know, both Lucy and I really wish she was on this. I'm just going to try again. Both Lucy and I very much of the thinking that everything that we want to share with you is attainable, it's achievable, it's not out of the ordinary, it's something that actually you can do at home. So Lucy's YouTube videos are, you know, 7 minutes long. They're doable. You don't need any equipment. You just need yourself and a room and some space, but not even that much space. And I speak from experience because I've started to do them and they are amazing. So, you know, if you're looking to incorporate some exercise into your daily routine, which I hope you will, then Lucy's videos are amazing. She's on YouTube. They're huge. Now, why is it I want you to include fitness? And if Lucy was here, she'd be telling you herself. But I'm going to sort of explain to you, when you are exercising, you are moving everything around. So you're getting rid of things that need to be got rid of. And those things are things like used up hormones. So hormones that have done what they need to do and they're used up and you need to just get rid of them. Exercise moves those around and keeps that process happening. If you're getting rid of everything that needs to be got rid of, you suddenly feel lighter, you feel better. That brain fog that I think it was Kim that was mentioning is no longer there. It's alleviated. It feels better because actually your brain and your body is not clogged up with all sorts of things that shouldn't be there. So exercise is one way of getting rid of that. What it also does is increase your metabolism. And one thing that I see a lot of in that menopause phase is weight gain, and it's particularly around the middle. And I will talk about that in terms of nutrition in a moment. But when it comes to getting rid of it, it is fat. The only way you can get rid of that is to exercise it off and eat well and manage your diet. So by exercising, you're going to boost your metabolism and help you to lose that weight. So, and that's what one thing that I know really does get a lot of you down. You know, do let me know in the comments if that's something that, you know, you're aware of, and it's something that you've just noticed, you know, some weight has piled on, and particularly around the middle, perhaps, that it's something that you just find you're struggling to get rid of. And you're not alone. I see it a lot, and it's what I try and help a lot of my clients to do. Now, from a nutritional perspective, the reason that we see a lot of fat around the middle is specifically because of the sugar content of your diet. Okay, so when it's around the middle, it's actually much more specific than just general weight gain. It is specifically to do with the amount of sugar. Now, remember, when I talk about sugars, I'm really talking about carbohydrates as well. So carbohydrates, when they're broken down as part of the digestive process, are broken down into sugars. So effectively, if you're eating carbohydrates, certainly too many, I'm not saying you should be not eating carbohydrates, but if you're eating too many carbohydrates, you're actually eating a lot of sugar. And if you're eating a lot of sugar, the excess sugar is going to be converted into fat and actually stored around the middle. And it's stored around the middle near the liver, where it can be reconverted back to glucose so that you can use it for energy. But of course, we don't ever give it a chance for that to happen because we've eaten some more sugar in the form of carbohydrates, or of course, cakes, sweets, biscuits, chocolates. We all know that. You know, once you've eaten that, the excess, in other words, if you're not exercising it off, then it's going to be converted to fat. So again, that's where exercise really comes into it. So again, if you're not exercising and you're struggling to find a way of incorporating exercise into your day, I would highly recommend Lucy's videos. Lucy Wyndham Reed, she's big on YouTube, just search for her. And she has so many different videos. I'd advise you to subscribe, because then you get all her new ones coming through. They're 7 minutes long. You can add on. I actually do more than one at a time because I just want to boost my workout. But some days I'm so busy, I will just do one and I feel good for it. I feel, you know, I've done it. So Tina, thank you for sharing. You've gained 3 stones since you came off HRT. So a lot of that is because you are now going into the normal phase of menopause. So as I mentioned before, HRT almost artificially tells your body you're not in menopause. You've replaced the estrogen, you're not in menopause. And, you know, with that, so with a drop in estrogen, you do get weight gain. So, of course, if you're bolstering those estrogen levels, you won't be susceptible to the same weight gain. So, it's great that you're part of my group. I know you are, Tina, and that's my Facebook group, Nutrition the May Way. Again, if you're not a member of that, please do join. It's free, and it's where I can really help you and offer you support, not so much on a personalized basis, but I can really inspire and motivate you to be much more health aware, and that's going to help you to achieve some of your health goals. But what I'm really saying here, Tina, is that, you're part of the group. So we're going to start really just keeping you engaged, keeping you motivated, inspired with healthy recipes, healthy approaches, exercise videos, because it's going to be a cumulative effect of doing those things that are going to help you lose the weight. But one thing that I now want to be a little bit more specific about is that I've talked about replacing the estrogen artificially with hormone replacement, but actually, I don't know if you're aware, but you can actually replace the estrogen, or you can mimic the body's estrogen by eating foods that do exactly that. And those foods are called phytoestrogens. So phyto means plant, so plant estrogens. And those foods, plant estrogens, phytoestrogens, will mimic the body's natural estrogen. So can you see how clever that is? That your body in perimenopause, so that phase leading up to menopause, is reducing estrogen. That's normal. That's what happens when your body gets to that stage in life. So we want to try and replace that. And we can do it through our diet. So if you're coming to the event on Sunday the 20th of May in Wimbledon, we're going to be really specific about what those foods are, and you're going to leave with a really clear idea of how you're going to be replacing that estrogen that you are losing naturally, and how you can then replace them naturally without having to resort to hormone replacement. And it's actually much, much easier than you think. And it's much more rewarding as well. So I hope that, you will feel that you're really taking control. And then what you're doing by eating well and addressing your diet, you're then not exacerbating the symptoms of menopause. Because can you imagine, you're already getting symptoms because that's natural. And then because of your diet and lifestyle, you're then exacerbating those symptoms. That makes it much, much harder to lose the weight, alleviate the symptoms, not be so grumpy, not have that same brain fog, not be so anxious, etc., etc. So you can see how those symptoms can compound themselves. And if you do that, actually your day is going to be so much harder to get through. And because we're all busy women, you still have to get through your day, especially if you've got younger children, and you're working full time and you've got a busy, busy life. You have to get through your day, and you do, because, we're grafters, we do. But it'll be a lot easier and a lot more fun to get through your day without those symptoms. So if this is the sort of thing that you want to learn more about, then certainly the event on the 20th of May is worth thinking about. But I know for some of you, I know you're watching from all over the world, and that's obviously not feasible. I'm going to be dealing a little bit more about that in my group as well. So if you haven't joined my group, please do. And I will be able to refer you to a lot of the material that I've produced already. And you can then start to build up your repertoire of knowledge and tools. In the first instance, I've just dropped into my website today a new ebook. It's part of my new recipe collections, and it's 9 nourishing snacks that are going to fill you up and satiate and actually banish those cravings. Because if you think about it, if you don't have the cravings in the first place, it's actually a lot easier not to reach for those sugary foods and things that are really not going to help when it comes to balancing your weight and managing your weight. So what I've done is put together 9 recipes. They're fantastic. They're not the run-of-the-mill ones, because I think we're all familiar with, the more common dips and sweets and snacks and things that are healthy. What I've tried to do is find some more unusual ones, giving you full recipes, but also at the beginning of that ebook, there is an explanation of what's going on. Why is it we snack? What is actually going on? Do download that, and that gives you something to work with. And then I'm going to be dropping in more. So Leslie, are you planning any events later in the year can't make May the 20th, absolutely we will do. You know, we really hope the 20th goes well. We're confident. We've sold plenty of tickets already, but we've still got plenty to go. And we hope it will be the start of something that Lucy and I will do more regularly. And actually we will tailor with different topics as well, because, you know, we're here for you and we want to address the things that are bothering you. We want to address the health goals that you have. And, you know, you've taken the time to join the group and you're putting in the effort, and we want to reward you with that. So we're absolutely thrilled to have you on board. And so the answer to that is yes, Leslie. And I hope you will be able to make the next one. So, no problem. But if any of you are there and you've got any other questions you'd like to ask, then please do pop them into the comments. I can answer them live now, or I will certainly be putting the link for May the 20th in the comments, and also the link for my new recipe collections, 9 nourishing snacks that satiate and fill you up and banish cravings. So a lot of people I know ask me for snacks, and you know, what snacks to eat and how to get rid of cravings. And you know, are you one of these people that's getting through your day relying on snacks? And that's not going to help with menopause symptoms, because what you're doing is adjusting your blood sugar levels, and that's going to contribute to the symptoms that I talked about. So you know, it's really a question of paring right back and really balancing blood sugars, and making sure that we're not exacerbating the symptoms of menopause that we're getting anyway, because that's normal, and we're not then making them worse by having a diet and lifestyle that also contributes to it. So if you've enjoyed this video and this session, please do share it with anyone. Share it by email, or even share it on your Facebook as a Facebook post, and then other people can see it. They don't have to be on my page to be able to do that. It's just a great resource. And if there's anything else I can help you with, and thank you for the thumbs up, and that's fantastic, really great to see. Thank you so much. And anything else that we can help you with, that's what we're there for in the group. Myself and Lucy's also a member of the group as well. And you know, you're all welcome to support each other in that group as well. You know, and we can share symptoms and share protocols on how to deal with it, but I'm there also to help and guide you. So thank you so much for joining me, and keep an eye out. I will be doing these regularly, because I think it's great to have the opportunity to be with you live, and I'll always advertise them so that you know what the next topic is going to be. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again next week.